Hi, I'm Matt. Welcome back to Hitchcocks Motorcycles. We're starting this video a little differently to normal, and I've brought you up here to one of our bulk holding warehouses because we've recently received another shipment from Royal Enfield in India, and I thought it was a good time to show you the quantities in which we take in the accessories for you at home. You will remember this warehouse as you've seen it before. Previously, it was full of classic motorcycles, and we'll show you a little bit of footage to remind you of that time. In today's video, I thought it'd be a good time to show you the vast quantities of stuff that we receive and actually pick out the items for today's demonstration. So come with me, I'll show you around and we'll get the items that we require. Perfect, let's go. Right, I think I've got everything we need for today's video. This is our latest delivery from Royal Enfield, which has come off the back of a shipping container, a complete 40-foot shipping container, ready for the 2026 riding season, and we're just about in time for that. In today's video, I'm excited to show you three of the most recent new products from Royal Enfield for the 2026 season, and we're going to be showing you three different types of luggage soft panniers on three different models: the 350 Hunter, the 650 Classic, and my favourite, the Bear. You can see the vast quantities in which we bring in the accessories, so we've got plenty of stock for you throughout the riding season, and of course this will be replenished as we go along. So let's get back to the workshop and let's get these products on the bikes for me to show you. So welcome back to HQ. I hope you enjoyed the little sneak peek in our warehouse, but here we are back in the workshop with the three bikes that I mentioned. I've got them lined up so you can see what I wanted to show you today, and this is the 2026 JMA Royal Enfield panniers and frames. I've got a Bear 650, I've got our beautiful Classic 650, and I've also got our Hunter 350. Now it's worth pointing out at this point that each bike has got a frame that's individual to itself. Apart from the Classic series, this frame will work with the Super Meteor and the Shotgun. And we've also got three different types of pannier to show you today. To my right, on the Hunter 350, it's currently modelling the Adventure pannier. We've got the modern style pannier in front of me on the Classic 650. And just for fun, I've put the Classic pannier on my Bear 650 over there. All of these bags are interchangeable. So it may be that the Classic bag has been designed to work with the Classic 650 and maybe the Super Meteor, etc. But if you like the look of them and you want them on your Hunter, there's no reason why you can't. Equally, the Adventure bag that's been designed primarily for the Bear works well on all three bikes. But what I'm going to do throughout this video, whilst I give you a little bit of information about the bags, is show you the different options on the different bikes. So what I'll do from now is we'll start with the Classic 650 and we'll move these bags along and show you the Classic bag on the Classic 650. So we've had a little change around with the bags. As you can see, this is how Royal Enfield have sort of marketed these in their brochures and literature to us. The Classic bag on the Classic 650, the Adventure bag on the Bear 650, and the modern pannier, which I have shown you in the past because it is also marketed with the Gorilla and a couple of other bikes. They also like it on the Bear 650, but this is where they've actually photographed it on the Hunter 350. I'm just going to point out a few of the features of each bag because I will give you the specs in a minute, and they're all the same. So for this bike on this Classic setup, it really does look smart. So just to point out a couple of the styling features on the Classic Pannier, we've got a leatherette strip with the Royal Enfield branding with a sort of false stitching along, and that's followed through the bag where the clips mount, and you've got 3 mounting points if you want to tighten it up or carry a little bit more stuff. And the leatherette is carried over all over the top of the bag. For me, these are the smartest. They're very, very presentable. You know, maybe a little bit modern, retro, hipster-ish, but I do really like them, and they suit all 3 of the bikes. So I'm going to go through the specs of the bags, and obviously we're looking currently at the Classic Pannier on the Classic 650. All of the specs on these bags, according to Royal Enfield on their website, are exactly the same. And some of these words for the actual products used are quite tricky, so I'm only going to mention this once, unless I have to say it again. So forgive me if I do get one of these wrong, but I'm going to give it a good go. The Classic Pannier is described as a pair of classically styled roll-top bags, constructed from premium hypalon and recycled polythene terephthalate. Now what that is, I've no idea, but they're using polythene-based material with some recycled materials to give it an IP6 waterproof rating, which means that if you're out on your adventures, these bags are going to keep your kit dry. They're designed for quick attachment and removal from the motorcycle, with hand carry handles and shoulder straps, making them user-friendly and easy to carry. All of the panniers also use premium Duraflex fasteners. They've all got a 3 kilogram payload, and that is per bag per side, so 6 kilograms of stuff on the bike at one point. And they've also got a 14.5 litre capacity per bag. With all roll top bags, the manufacturers recommend so many rolls to guarantee their waterproofing. In this case, and the vast majority of other roll top bags, they ask you to roll them over 3 times before securing with the straps. So this is our third and final switch around of positions of the bags. We've now got the Classic bag over on the Hunter 350. We've got the Adventure bag on the Classic 650, and we've got the Modern bag on the Bear 650. I think by now you're starting to get an idea that all of these bags work really well with all of these bikes. And realistically, it is down to personal preference. I think these Adventure bags look really smart on the Classic 650. Even though I do favour the Classic Pannier, if you're asking my opinion, I think that is the smartest bag. But I think it's probably because the Bear is such a pretty bike naturally. All of the bags work really well with that bike. And although maybe that's not quite to my taste, I would more than happily use that bag on my bike. As always with Hitchcocks, it's worth pointing out in the video that these are our development bikes and my own personal bike, which you've all seen before if you've been watching the videos for the last few weeks. And what I wanted to point out that these bikes aren't all standard. They've got development parts on that you might see throughout the video. I'll point out a few of the obvious ones just so that we're all clear what we're looking at. But it's also worth pointing out that the standard pannier bags and frames work with some of the modifications that we've already done to this bike. So you can see that the Hunter is currently sporting some rather off-road tyres, some chunky tyres. It's also got a high-rise fender on the front, which of course wouldn't affect the panniers, but I wanted to point that out to you on the video. And of course that high-rise front fender kit that I've just mentioned on the Hunter 350 is also known as a high-rise mudguard kit for our UK customers. Moving on to the Classic 650, we've got one of our development exhausts fitted to this bike. We've got our free-flowing headers coming into one of our highly polished stainless steel silencers. I think they suit the bike perfectly. They are actually styled closely to the original ones on the bike. These are going to be available to purchase very soon, so just keep your eye on the website. And of course, you've all seen this bike before if you've been watching the videos in the last few weeks. This is my bike, the Bear 650, and this has got an aftermarket exhaust and a decap pipe. As you can see, even with the aftermarket exhaust, the panniers are still working fine. And I am actually going to be using these panniers in the next few weeks for a few of my little adventures. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below. I will try and answer all of them. Or if it's a more in-depth question that you've got specifically, please drop me an email and I'll do my best to answer you. Where it comes to these bags, I'm going to be using them over the next few weeks. It's worth me mentioning whilst it's on my bike that the step over with the bags on is actually okay. It's not too bad at all. They're not too wide and they're not too obtrusive. Right, so I thought I'd just show you me sitting on it, all three of the bikes, obviously with the classic pannier, the adventure pannier and the modern pannier, just to show you that the actual step over with the panniers on and how it looks with me on the bike with the actual panniers mounted. Now, obviously, these have got some stuffing in to show you them at size, but when you've got them fully loaded, you might just have to be a little bit more careful swinging your leg over. But here's me getting onto the Classic 650 and then sitting on it for a sec, so you can see what it looks like with the rider on, with the bags on. So there we are. That was nice and easy to get on. And I think you'll be okay with the pillion sitting there as well. They might just get the bag just touching the back of their leg, but I think they'll be okay. And here's me getting on the Bear 650, this time with the modern pannier bag fitted. And still plenty of room for your passenger foot bag. And finally, here's me getting onto the Hunter 350, this time with the classic pannier. It's always going to be a little bit tighter for me on this one, being a bigger chap and it being quite a small bike, but I just about manage a very small pillion. Right, so we've shown you around the bags, but how do they actually fit? Well, all of the bags and all the frames are very similar, so I thought I'd show you with this Classic 650 with the classic pannier. At the back of the bag, there is a slit for the frame to go through. And once you've mounted them on, there is a strap at the rear of each of the bags, which has two different sets of Velcro that goes round the end of the frame and holds the bag securely in place. I'll come round to the front of the bike and I'll show you how to do it. So each of these pannier frames is very similar between the bikes, but there is some subtle differences to how you fit them. I had them fitted to the bikes prior to starting this video because they are very, very simple. It's a couple of bolts at the top and the bottom. There is some subtle differences between the bikes. The frames are quite clever. They've got this grippy material that covers the ends of them where you're actually going to fit the pannier frame to give it a little bit more grip and a little bit more support. So where it comes to fitting the bag, you obviously need the bigger section of the opening to be going onto the bike. So just offer it up and push it along. Now these are quite tight because they are brand new, but you'll get the idea anyway. So that goes on nicely like so. And then you wrap the Velcro strap through the frame, back onto the bag and secure like so. Now obviously we've got the shoulder straps on for the demo today. That wouldn't normally be there, but you've got the idea. And just for belt and braces, I'll show you how to remove the bags. It's obviously the reverse of what we've just done. Open the Velcro strap, open the other Velcro strap, feed it through the frame, and then with the carry handle at the top, just support the bag and slide it backwards. And like I said, these are brand new, so they are tight, but easily done. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video again today, and I hope you've seen everything you need to see in relation to these new Royal Enfield panniers. So let's just do a brief summary of what we've learned and how we feel about these bags. With soft panniers, there's always going to be a security issue, but with the frames and the way that Royal Enfield have designed these, they really are a smart, functional way of moving your stuff about, whether that's on a long weekend or further afield on your adventures. From a security point of view, obviously hard luggage would always be more secure, you can lock it, etc. But these, as a cost-effective, good value way of moving your stuff around, I think are really hard to beat. They also suit every single one of these motorcycles. But for me, the smartest is the classic pannier. And these are the ones that will probably be coming home with me today. All of the information is on the website. If you do have any questions, please feel free to contact us via the phone number or the email below. and I'll try and answer any of your questions in the comments after this film is published. But once again, my name's been Matt. Thanks for watching this week, and we'll see you all soon.